Is it a red flag if a guy says that all of his exes were just crazy? Like, I don't really know exactly what crazy means in this case, but let's just say that the person uses the word crazy. He calls all of his exes crazy. Is that a red flag, or is it possible that he is just happening to end up with terrible people all the time? Maybe he doesn't have the best judge of character. Edit: by the way, when I say crazy, I'm not referring to abusive behavior. It's more like behavior that doesn't seem abusive, but he keeps calling all of his exes crazy. And of course, again, crazy is objective. Not my favorite word, but it's the word they use. Depends on how many exes. Completely possible to get burned once or twice. But if it keeps happening, there's some sort of pattern to look into. You know what they say. If you run into an asshole, that's just what it is. But if you run into assholes all day, you're the asshole. Depends on what he's calling crazy. Ex-dude. She is so crazy, why? She kept yelling at me for no reason for not putting my socks away, when in fact she is the kind of person that has told him a million times to pick up the socks, and then one day she finally burst. And then that's how she got the reputation of crazy. One of a few things are happening. He's going for the wrong sort of women for him, consistently, and expecting different results. One person's crazy is another person's spontaneous and passionate. He's making them crazy through his behavior, and he continues to drive perfectly normal women to the edge of reason through some flaw in his personality. He's blaming everyone else for his problems when the relationship explodes in his face. He's genuinely the least lucky person on the planet, but still a douche for using the word crazy. Take your pick. I wouldn't date any of them. In my experience, a lot of the time when men talk about their supposedly crazy exes, that means their exes reacted emotionally to some bullshit the man did. Is he able to reflect and recognize his own problematic behaviors? Is he able to say, my ex did XYZ, which was crazy, but I also wasn't perfect because I did ABC, and I learned from the experience and worked on myself? Or is he 100% the victim in everything? Take him at his word. But then ask what is wrong with him that he keeps getting into relationships with crazy people. He's gonna call you crazy as well. Categorically yes, and probably one of the easiest ones to spot. Even if it's one case, the label crazy can be incredibly misleading and generalizing. Ask about specific things that happened and watch him reflect. Lol. My friend told everyone his wife went crazy and broke his heart. The truth was he wanted to cheat on her with his coworker, so he got everyone on board for an orgy. Except his wife. Then he brought his wife to the orgy and just tried to force her into participating so it wouldn't technically be cheating. My last long-term relationship was 5 years. At the beginning he had mentioned something about crazy exes. If they felt crazy, it's because he lied about things and engaged in behaviors that were not reasonable or kind. It made me feel crazy by the time I finally left. Yes. If all exes are crazy, he's either lying, or he made them that way. There are so many guys out there. You don't need to settle for someone like this. He's not self-aware and being vague with details. Making sure to use the word crazy. Do you really want to be the one to find out if he's the problem or his exes? He's saying it to see how you will react and make his next move. If he tells you a lot of experiences with other people and no one else is around, or if he's with friends and they all just agree, egg him on when telling these stories, he's really a red flag. My ex called his ex crazy at the time I was getting to know him. Then he called a whole culture of women crazy. He will or probably has called me crazy to whoever he is with. What he won't say. He is a cheating, lying manipulator that drives perfectly normal women to crazy BC of what he does. Yes. That means he's the problem. If you smell shit once, check the pavement. If you're smelling shit all day, check your shoe. Red flag so big you can see it from space. He's the common denominator. So he's either the entire problem, or he is attracting trouble, which still makes him part of the problem. I am a guy. And I wouldn't say all my exes were crazy. None of them were. Things just didn't work out. And we moved on. Yes. He's the problem, or he's got poor judgment. Take things slowly and you'll find out. Yes. Major red flag. It's just a way to avoid reflecting on their own mistakes. Just blame everything on multiple other people. No one person is usually fully responsible for a breakup. And if many people act crazy around them, it probably has a reason, namely the gaslighting and manipulating. You won't have a good time with that person. Bad taste is one thing. A pattern is another. Location flag. It usually means that A, he has driven him crazy, or B, it's possible that you are crazy too. I mean, if all his exes are crazy, I'd look for the common denominator. Him. If only one of them are crazy, it's more likely to be true. What's the common denominator here? Him. Every dude gets one crazy ex. All crazy means he's the problem. Crazy is usually the word picked by abusers or douchebags to describe women who don't put up with their shit at some point. Maybe keep this in mind. No way. Because it couldn't be his fault. Yes. I say this as a man. The fact that he hasn't said what makes them crazy is the big red flag here for me. Shit-talking exes to your new or potentially new partner is a red flag. Regardless of what words you are using. Yes, girl. In my opinion, yes, it's a red flag. If someone says all their exes are anything, they're the common denominator, probably driving them that direction. Not always. But sometimes this person is a narcissist. It couldn't possibly be him. Assuming it's the latter. Do you feel comfortable dating someone that is a poor judge of character? Regardless, men who have crazy exes should always be considered a red flag, and you're better off single. Either he's a bad picker or he's a bad guy. A friend is going through this now. He just finalized his second divorce and all of his friends can't stand his new girlfriend. He keeps picking awful women. Even after saying he doesn't want to be with those kinds of women anymore, but the heart wants what it wants, I guess. Yes, it is a red flag. This is typical behavior from a narcissist. The polemic they use is based on him being right and everyone else wrong. He sees his exes as crazy because they did not stay with him. A really wonderful man. This is a huge personality flaw, as this type person can't empathize with their partner. Lack of empathy kills relationships. I was once with a guy and he was pressuring me to be in a relationship with him when I agreed. And texted him how his day was. He said to me, "Why are you acting like my girlfriend?" Looking back at it, I think he was the type of man who was trying to make me crazy. The one thing you know all those crazy exes have in common is him. Make of that what you will.